All right, hey guys, this is Chef Chris, and welcome to the Wild Man Chef podcast, where we are just basically looking at some of the ingredients that we're using to improve our physical fitness, our lifespan, our vitality, and everything like that. And just I always get so frustrated with personal trainers talking about how it's all about nutrition, and they just kind of throw out a diet plan like it's an afterthought. And so here I'm just trying to focus on that part of it so that you and me can improve together. But today is really just a keto update episode. Um, just want to keep it pretty light today. It's getting a little late. It's getting a lot darker a lot earlier, and I'm noticing that does have quite an effect on just the ability to really get out there and really get your workouts in and not get really tired really easily. So that is something I'm definitely noticing. I actually did kind of fail, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Basically, I kind of just was really tired, really moody, super depressed, and I caved and had like a bunch of carbs. I smoked some weed, and usually I can really like keep it under control. I make sure I don't have my phone near me so I'm not ordering Uber Eats, but I got a little too high and I just ordered a bunch of McDonald's, and I was really good. Like, I just ate the patties. Like, I didn't even eat the buns, and then just before I knew it, I was just shoveling buns into my face. And so after that, I was just like, all right, well, I might as well just kind of enjoy myself a little bit, have a few drinks, whatever, have like 24-hour period or so to just kind of get those carbs in. But one thing I am noticing is that on this ketogenic kind of thing, preparation is so key. You can't leave anything up to chance. You got to plan out meals. I actually gained like I'm sure some of it is water weight, but the scale showed about 175 today, and I started at around 170, 169. And so one thing to really look out for, I'm gonna go ahead and do it again. But some of the things that I learned is that you can't just eat as much protein and fat as you want to. You just can't. It's you're still consuming carbs or calories, I mean, and you are consuming a lot of fat, which is the most calorie dense macronutrient available. So you really have to make sure that you are consuming the right amount of food, the right amount of calories, so you're not overdoing it. It's not just this magic thing where you can just eat as much as you want and it's fine. So preparation and making sure that even though I am really hungry, that's the thing, is that when you're not having a bunch of carbohydrates all the time, you're just really hungry, like super freaking hungry. And so you overdo it on a lot of the protein and fats, and that's what's going to really keep you from those goals. And so preparation is really key, making sure you have the right amount of calories set about. There is like some math behind it. Like, you change the percentages of your macros, and so right now I got to make sure I'm sticking to like the 30 grams of carbohydrates and 140 grams of fat and like 50 or maybe 60 or even 80 grams of protein. Um, you just can't have any the cravings. You're so tired and like you just really want to eat all the time. And so you really have to make sure that, yeah, you're not over consuming and not overdoing it on the other macronutrients. Snacks, you can't really so what I'm going to do this time is just to make it a little easier. So like intermittent fasting, it does have some scientific stuff to it when it comes to burning fat faster. Especially if you are in a real fasted state and then you go work out, you're targeting the fat cells because your body wants to use that immediately as energy, and especially when you're on keto. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine intermittent fasting with keto and see if that helps me out, because that way I'll have a smaller window of consumption, which will automatically, a lot of the times people have results from intermittent fasting purely because they have such a smaller window to eat things in, and they just by default consume less calories. There is some science stuff behind, again, like burning things faster, but a lot of times that's where their results are coming from. So if I can make sure that I have that window and I'm not consuming outside of that window, then I can mitigate how many calories I'm even able to consume. Um, Another big thing is you really cannot you can't have any you got to be pretty clean. Like if you're gonna do this, you got to do it for real. There is no, if you end up doing ketogenic diet and things like that, um, you can't, it's not just one thing. You're like, oh, I'm just kind of doing this and then whatever else I want to do. Like you really have to commit to it in order to really hit that ketosis and have those really intense fat burning weeks. So no drinking. I know people that do get away with smoking weed on it, and you can. I mean, weed has no calories. But the thing is that for me, I have a really difficult time controlling my consumption when I'm stoned. And so, unless you are a professional stoner and you can really like control everything, you know how high you're gonna get, things like that. It's almost medicinal for you. I would probably stay away from it if it's something that you do recreationally or even just to go to sleep. In this state, you're going to smoke to go to sleep and then wake up at like 3 a.m. and just be starving and want to just eat everything. So if you're really committed to having these positive effects, you really have to commit all the way and just let go of all those other substances that make it significantly harder to stay on track. And the alcohol is a big thing too. I mean, I guess you could probably get away with a couple like low carb beers or something like that. That probably wouldn't be a big deal because you are afforded like, I think I did like a low end carbohydrate. You shouldn't cut carbs out completely. That's something I did a little research, and you shouldn't do that, especially because of the fact that it's significantly harder to sustain purely for the fact that you aren't giving your brain the glycogen that it needs to even function. And so you have to have some carbohydrates. And so if you want to like kind of ease off on whatever stuff like carbohydrates you're getting throughout the day and kind of transfer those over to some low carb beers or something, that's probably not that big of a deal. But you got to make sure that you're not getting yourself in a position where you're hungry because you drink a little too much and then you slip up. I'm sure that my slip up is probably, I might have to go through the whole process over again physically. And I may have to like deal with the exhaustion and depression and I don't know, just like almost flu-like symptoms kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm definitely going to, I've started again today. And so we'll see how long it takes if I get some results. Another thing is too, although you can get results by not really changing your physical activity that much. I think it really only works that way for those that are very overweight to obese. Me, I am nowhere near any of those things. And so what I noticed is that I was really exhausted, and so I didn't really have the energy outside of pure discipline to just get out and exercise, and so I put on weight. And so it is key, especially if you have like maybe 5 or 10 pounds left, to start to see those stomach muscles. It's really key to make sure that you aren't kind of getting lazy with your physical activity. And it's going to be really easy to, specifically for the fact that you're going to have no energy to do it. And so this is where pre-workouts really kind of shine. I started drinking some like coffee, like a bunch of coffee, and it still was like just enough to get me going through the day, but it wasn't really enough for me to make it more effortless to get out and exercise. To make it a little bit easier, there is like a pre-workout called cardio cuts. And what this one does is that it doesn't raise your heart level too much. And so you can still go out and get your cardio in and get your base exercise in. It's not going to make your heart feel like it's going to explode, and it still gives you enough energy. If you're doing, I don't know about weightlifting and stuff during this process, maybe you could potentially do it because you are consuming a lot of protein and such. But usually with weight gain, you'll want a calorie surplus. And you could potentially achieve that. It actually might be the cleanest way to achieve that, doing keto and weight gain, because you'll be losing fat at the same time as using a lot of those calories to build muscle. So I suppose it is certainly possible. Sorry. Um, but for the time being, my main thing is that I have to make sure that I'm really staying on point with getting my exercise in, even when I really just don't have the energy. Like literally, I got to make sure that I'm at least getting like long walks in or something, and making sure that I'm only eating in a certain window. And I think if I really apply those things, I'll have better results. So I'm just telling you all this to, if you are considering a keto diet, these are just things to look out for. This is an experiment. I've never tried to lose fat this way before. I've hit plateaus, and I hurt my back, so I was unable to get my daily runs in and such. So this is just an experiment that I'm trying on myself, because I don't know how this works. I don't know if it works for everybody, and see if I'll get the results that I want. So hopefully that helps you out. If you're doing keto or you're thinking about it, just look out for that. You're going to have no energy to exercise, but you still have to exercise. And you don't have to exercise that much. Even my buddy Will, he was like, he maybe went surfing like once or twice a week, and that's a lot of exercise. And he is a chef, so he's on his feet all the time. If you're sitting at a desk, like, he's burning calories. The main thing is that he was consuming a lot of stuff because he's a chef, and it's really easy to kind of, with all the stress and everything, to kind of overeat and stuff. And I might actually have him on the podcast just so we can do we can get his experience as well, because he's gotten really great results from it. But yeah, if you're sitting at a desk all day and you're not moving, it's really important that you at least get like an hour walk in or something like that. You can't just expect to just eat all the fat and protein that you want in the world and that you're just going to drop fat because it's like this magic thing. You really have to really be committed, stay clean, and just it is intense discipline. It takes intense discipline. It's a very difficult thing to do, and this is coming from somebody that had achieved 5K every morning, and I was doing that for a while. The only reason I stopped is because I hurt my back too bad to be able to do it without messing myself up more. And so it's very challenging. And so if you have, it's going to be a difficult thing to do in the holiday season. I would maybe suggest, if anything, just cutting down on your carbs, being a little bit more conscious of that. If you want to like move yourself into that direction for when the new year hits and everybody's like out of holiday seasons and not having these big meals and really trying to reshape their bodies and such. So maybe like trying to make small steps to that end, so that when the first comes, you're ready and you have that disciplined muscle and that part of yourself really worked out and figured out, and it'll be a lot easier to make that adjustment. But I don't know that I would suggest for most people to undertake this way of consuming and this way of living during the season, because it will destroy it will destroy your relationship, man. Like, you'll get in all kinds of fights, you'll be angry all the time. It's not good stuff. So if anything, hopefully you learned enough to like make a better decision on whether or not this paradigm is going to work for you, because it just in the mental place, I mean, it's really simple. It's not hard. Losing fat isn't ever hard. There's nothing hard about losing fat. There's math behind it. It's super easy. It's the mental stuff, the discipline, the emotional stuff. That's where it's hard. And so undertaking this way of doing things during a very taxing time of year, I would probably not think it would be the best thing for most. So hopefully that helps you out. I'll get back to you on Wednesday with some more nutrition and food-based episodes, but I just kind of want to give you a little insight into what my experience has been so far. So I'll see you guys later, and you guys have a fantastic week. Bye.